Hey, what's up, everyone? Um, this is my final part of my health and nutrition kind of vlog. I thought I was gonna do 4 parts, but I looked at my last part and there doesn't seem that much information, so I just kind of combined it all into one. I just finished it. Um, so, without further ado, I'm gonna express the last part of my thoughts about nutrition, about weight loss and stuff like that for health reasons. So I'm just gonna combine the last two sections. The last two sections are, the first one is for obese people, talking about a little bit about the body positivity. I'm not gonna go super into it, but I just wanted to kind of address a couple things that body positivity kind of lies to people about. And then the last section is just healthier alternatives for snacks and stuff like that. So for obese and overweight people, this is coming from someone who used to be overweight. I was 25% body fat, 220 pounds. I had sleep apnea. I had a hard time walking upstairs. Sitting down, I had to breathe very heavy. There was, running was difficult for me. I tried to run when I was 220 pounds, trying to get some exercise in. And it was very difficult on my joints. It was very difficult on my body. I'm kind of I've always been kind of a thin person, so being 220 pounds, that's the heaviest I've ever been in my life. That may not sound like a lot of weight for some people, but it was a lot of weight for me. It was definitely, I had a giant belly. I was very uncomfortable in my skin. It was very difficult for me to do just daily tasks, right? And I can definitely tell you that I was not healthy. And if I kept eating in the way that I was, I would have been on the cusp of being obese. And then I would have been in serious health issues. So that's coming from me, a formerly overweight person. So what I want to say is that if you're overweight or if you're obese, I think there's very few of my friends that I still kind of keep in contact with that may be categorized as obese. If you are, take it upon yourself to prioritize your health. It's not healthy to be obese or overweight. I mean, yeah, you might be able to live a fairly decently amount of a long life, but eventually, if you keep eating, if you keep having the bad habits of eating the junk food, eating high calories, calorically dense foods, you'll eventually eat yourself into a grave. It happens. It's not like, oh, well, I can just keep eating this. I'm still young. I could probably burn it off later. It gets harder as you get older to do exercise and things like that. I wouldn't put it off. I would start to prioritize my health immediately. That's just me, coming from me to you as a formerly overweight person. Do it for yourself. You'll feel better. It's night and day difference having going from I'm about 160. I weighed myself this morning. I'm 168. I went from 220 to 168. That's more than 50 pounds of lost weight. And I can tell you that's a night and day difference. Just not having to carry around 50 pounds of weight, of fat, mostly fat, just all over the place. Now, just a little bit about like the body positivity movement. It's kind of a blatant lie. Like, I understand where it's come from. It's like kind of like it had a good intention, it was trying to reduce bullying and trying to make people feel, shame people for, how they look and stuff like. Okay, so it's based upon good intentions, but it has very severely negative outcomes. You're hiding the truth from people. You cannot be healthy at any size. People who are obese and overweight, they are unhealthy, right? Even just from a mechanical perspective, a human being that weighs 250 to 300 pounds it's a lot heavier, right? And if it's not all muscle, right? If the only way you could be that big with that much muscle is probably like steroids or something like that, and that's not healthy either. But when you're talking about 250 pounds, 300 pounds, most of the time you're talking about really large obese people, right? Like, think about that. If you're carrying around that much weight, and that much weight is being pushed on your joints and everything every time you walk around, every time you do anything, any kind of movement, which you have to move around to be active in society, right? I'm not even talking about exercise, just going to work, getting up in the morning, like brushing your teeth, just doing everything, just bending down to tie your shoes. Everything becomes infinitely more difficult to do. Becomes way harder to do. Walking down the street, walking upstairs to get to your office, whatever you have to do. It becomes way harder to do when you have to carry around another 100 pounds of fat. And, gravity is going to pull it all down, and it's going to be harder for you to do anything. So, like, even if it was, healthy at any size, just mechanically speaking, it's much, much harder. It's more stress on your joints, more stress on your body. You have to carry it around all the time. When you're lifting heavy weights, you're doing it for a very short period of time. And you're contracting your muscles. I mean, ideally, you want to be using good form so that you're using the muscles to push and not, accessory types, that you're not doing all this, the cheating and stuff like that. That develops your muscle, which is meant to, pick your body up or lift heavy weights, right? That's not the same as carrying around 100 pounds of fat. Like that. That's very bad for your body if you have to do that for every movement that you do, everywhere, all the time. The fat doesn't just, you can't put if you're lifting weights, you can put the weights down and then go do something, and then you pick them up when you want to do the weight. You can't take the fat off and then pick the fat off and put it back on when you want to. You can't do that. It's always on you. So until you burn it off, you have to discipline yourself to take the weight off. So the final thing that I wanted to talk about is healthier alternatives for foods and snacks. So I know that in part 2 I talked about like foodie culture, going to places where you're gonna snack on different types of things and try a bunch of different things out. And I gave you a strategy for that, going with a lot of people, throwing food away that you're not gonna, don't force feed yourself. This section is gonna be more about, there are healthier alternatives to eating just, cookies and cake and donuts and stuff like that. So, and I want to caveat this with that, just because they're healthier means that they're just less calories, or they have different macros in whatever you're eating. Just because they're healthier doesn't mean that we can binge on these. We can't be like, oh, it's healthy ice cream, I'm just gonna eat an entire carton of ice cream. Like that's not what I mean when I when I say that, okay, these are healthier options. They're lower calories. So, meaning that if you absolutely have to have ice cream, there are healthy alternatives to getting just plain ice cream. Like actual, you can go with Skinny Cows. I eat Skinny Cow every once in a while. It's a lower calorie version of regular ice cream. It has a little bit better macros. It's got a little bit more protein in it. So the only problem is that it doesn't taste like creamy as real ice cream, like Kroger's ice cream. Kroger's ice cream is awesome. So, if you have to have it, but you don't want to eat the extra calories, you could go to a lower calorie version of it. So now, like I said, don't binge on it, right? And it's going to taste a little bit different, but you can get used to it, right? You can get used to the taste. You can get used to the it's mostly the texture, really, if it's ice cream. Same thing with like chocolate bars. I don't actually eat chocolate bars at all. I'm not a big chocolate bar kind of guy to begin with, but I used to eat chocolate bars because I had a craving for that I just want something like that, like a chocolate bar, like a Hershey's bar or a Snickers bar or Reese's bar. Like I just like to have those every once in a while, right? But I don't think I remember last time I ate a Snickers bar. It's been a long time because instead of eating those, I just eat protein bars. Now, protein bars have lots of sugar in it, and it's not the best thing to eat. But if you really need that chocolate bar experience, that flavor, a Quest bar, one of those, Kashi bars, those will do it. No, it'll do the trick. It does the trick for me. It tastes pretty much like a chocolate bar, and it's got high amounts of protein in it. And so it's got better macros. It's still pretty high in the calorie range, like 190 to 200 calories for like one Quest bar. But, that's a Snickers bar, like I said, is like 220, 230 calories, right? So it's a little bit less, almost about the same, but I mean, it's slightly less calories, and you're getting some macros, protein macros at least, right? So it's not a complete waste. If you have to have a chocolate bar, you can get a protein bar. Let's see, there's like low calorie popcorn instead of high calorie popcorn, low calorie pizza. If you have to have a pizza, they have these low calorie pizzas that you can make in the oven, and they're a little bit healthier. I mean, it's still a lot of calories, but it's not as many calories as eating like a Costco pizza or something like that. So yeah, this is just one of those things that's just kind of like a strategy. Like, if you absolutely have to have this kind of junk food, try the alternatives, and that'll at least decrease your calories a little bit, so that you can burn it off easier later. You don't have to do, instead of doing 1 hour of cardio at the end of the day, you can do like 30 minutes, because you didn't have 3 Snickers bar, you had 1 Quest bar, which is only 190 calories, 200 calories, as opposed to, I mean, if I don't know about you guys, if I have a Snickers bar, I can't have just 1 Snickers bar. I'm gonna have 3 Snickers bars at the least for a snack, right? But the Quest bars, if I have 1, I'm good, maybe because it has more fiber or something, I don't know. And then yeah, like as you track your calories, that was the first thing that I recommended, is track your calories. You'll know how much you're in excess, and then just burn it off at the end of the day. You can do some cardio, like some light intensity stuff, like elliptical, Stairmaster, walking on a treadmill, or just go for a walk outside. I do that a lot. I take my kids out to the mall near my house, and we'll just go for a walk, and we'll walk about 5,000-6,000 steps on my Fitbit tracker, and that's a pretty good amount of calories there, like maybe 200, 250, 300 calories or something, just from doing a mall walk. And I get to spend time with my kids, and it's good times for everyone. So yeah, those are the things that I think about nutrition, especially doing this bodybuilding cut. It's really taught me a lot about the discipline of nutrition, and I just kind of wanted to share that information with people who are interested. All right, thanks.